Joining us today, I have my good buddy Mike. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. We just got done watching Nintendo's E3.
We did this morning.
Also joining us, I have my good buddy Eric. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing fantastic.
I just wanted to throw in here, this is Nick speaking. I am also here.
Nick's here too, of course.
I'm always here.
Hi, Nick.
Of course.
You know.
Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're going to go ahead and start off with EA. One of their major things they started off with was Titanfall 2. What do you guys have on thoughts for Titanfall 2?
Well, should we say what we thought of EA in general?
Yeah, let's start there. That's a good point.
Mike, you go ahead.
I always go back to me. I'm a big EA fan.
Yes.
I'm a proponent for them, as it's been against everybody else.
They did a great job this year, wouldn't you say?
Oh, you guys every time. It could have been better. I can last as long for they teased me for many years to come, but I didn't really get anything.
Well, you already know. You're going to be buying...
I'm getting my Mass Effect. I'm getting my personal favorite game of all time, Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And I'm getting Star Wars eventually, but they didn't show me exactly any special details. They showed the guys drawn and certain little scenes where I can pull stuff from. Oh, I can see an Asari. I can see
Yeah, I think if anybody got anything out of that, it was you.
Yeah.
Because me, I'm a pretty big fan of Mass Effect. Not my favorite series in the world, but I really do enjoy it. But from what I saw...
It just re-emphasized the fact that they're no longer in the Milky Way galaxy. They're in Andromeda. Yep, and it's obviously a new storyline, new people, all that good stuff.
So it's like thanks for letting us know that this is coming out, but we already knew that.
They
Personally,
were just reminding you.
Yeah,
They're
it was
reminding
a reminder.
you that it still exists. What I found most interesting about that is that all this concept art, okay, they're making an emphasis on, there's new alien creatures, okay, there was a really cool, like, almost gorilla-like one that came, like, running through, like, a dust storm, okay, at you. I was like, whoa, that's kind of big and pretty agile for a Mass Effect game.
Yeah, they did say that they were going to have, like, creatures and wildlife.
Bigger exploration.
And of course, it's still showing, like, Asari and Krogan and stuff like that, and of course, you're going to a different galaxy. Are these races that we're all familiar with in the Andromeda Galaxy? Are you bringing them along with you? Are you?
It looked like an entire, everyone got together and they picked some people, they shot them off.
Almost an ambassador.
Yep, into the Andromeda Galaxy, and then, all these races of the Citadel would start colonizing the Andromeda Galaxy in hopes that eventually we could link the two between themselves. That's just assumptions completely.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, this EA's done it the last 2 years, especially with Star Wars. Just the developers, you see them drawing, you see them typing, you see them doing all that stuff.
A lot of that background diary kind of stuff.
They've done the last 2 years running, and that's where you can really only pull stuff from. They don't really show. At least they haven't shown any trailers or. They did have in-game footage.
I might be overstepping here in this assumption, but when they did the EA Play thing, I was actually surprised. I noticed that their audience seemed a little bit small. I was like, okay, they did somewhere other than the main E3 area. Mm-hmm. But I'm starting to wonder if they did this because they didn't have much to show.
I would agree. They just had announcements. It wasn't.
They had some major titles.
They had a little bit of. It was almost like. Here's some stuff we're adding, not necessarily stuff that is game changing, but just little bonuses like the EA
competition stuff.
Yep, the challenges, the 3 tiers.
Yeah, with the Challenger, Premier, and EA Major.
Yeah, obviously, with EA being the sports
centric for sure.
Yeah, the center for sports. You can put those in with FIFA and Madden, and so obviously that was just kind of like, hey. They do the Madden contest every year. They do FIFA. They do all that. And now it's just, we're going to do it year-round.
Yeah.
Almost like a localized challenge. You don't have to go to these major cities.
Yeah, I think I saw that you can kind of set up your own.
Yep.
So, I mean, they did show a lot of different things. I mean, they showed Battlefield 1.
That's really their biggest thing they had, beside Titanfall, obviously.
Yeah, definitely one of their bigger things that they're going with. I think if I remember correctly, those two are getting released pretty close together.
Titanfall, wasn't it like a week before? Like the 21st? Am I spitballing? Most probably it was October 21st.
It was pretty
I don't
close.
have the dates written down for that.
I know Battlefield was, I could have swore it was the 28th.
Yeah.
October 28th. And I want to say Titanfall was a week before because I was thinking about the fact that are they cutting into their profits by having them release at the same time?
EA actually commented on this. They they were quite confident in the brands.
Oh yeah, definitely.
course,
And it's
to,
plus it's October, so you're gonna have that money expecting for holidays. And this kind of turns back to what Eric's question was, or what actually your question was, Chuck.
Yeah.
Titanfall. What did we think?
Titanfall. So, the trailer I saw, when I first heard about this, they kind of showed vaguely, what it was. They showed a Titan with a sword, which I was like, okay, cool. This will definitely be interesting. Then I saw the story mode campaign trailer, and I gotta say, I was pretty impressed.
Offline story mode.
The offline story, yeah. So one of the biggest problems of the first game was that there was no single player, and it was kind of relying on the online to continue, and it kind of lost its luster, and it completely fell out of the spotlight relatively quickly compared to most online games.
It was like a sparkler.
Yeah. Yes, there you go. It did open up pretty nicely, at first anyway. But after I saw the trailer, I was actually pretty impressed. I was intrigued by the concept. I would love to see, how it does. I'm at least interested, versus if it was another online only, I probably would have been a bit turned off to it.
And there is a story. We saw that with the... If you watch the trailer, you'll see the bond between the pilot of the main Titan and the Titan itself. The other thing they announced for Titanfall 2 was that you're getting 6 new Titans.
Yes.
For multiplayer, bringing it
Very
to
exciting.
at least 9 that I know of.
As far as my basic math works, I
DLC,
assumed
yeah.
about 9. So I'm pretty excited about that. One of my main problems with the first game was because there was only 3 different styles.
It was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. Yeah. So of course their other big one. We didn't go into too much. Discussion
Eric, Nick, did you
whatsoever.
have any comments about Titanfall? I don't.
If not, what about Battlefield 1?
Well, just comments for Titanfall.
Okay.
Starting off, after playing the beta for Titanfall, okay, I very much enjoyed the game. I got the experience of Titanfall. And by the time the game came out, it was kind of like, the
Same
beta,
thing
you
every
play with the
time.
one Titan. You had like 2 maps you can play on. And by the time the game kind of finally came out, it was like I was already done with it. They released the additional Titans. I actually played quite a while in the multiplayer without touching the campaign. I didn't have some of the Titans unlocked for a while, and then finally going back and getting both of the Titans was actually difficult. Just because of the trying to get the campaign, trying to get a full lobby to actually make the missions run and everything.
Which I doubt they're going to make that mistake again this time.
No,
I assume the campaign will, it's completely offline as far as
No,
I'm
they
aware
should
of.
just make it strictly level up. That's all they should do. That's all.
Okay. Well, Battlefield 1. What did you guys think of Battlefield 1? I'm particularly excited about this.
I'm very excited for this. I mean, they're taking a different approach to World War One. Of course, World War One primarily known for trench warfare and everything, and they're taking side stories and other participants of World War One and maybe even some additional added to it.
Yeah.
And telling different stories. So I mean, there's going to be a whole lot different content. It's like a throwback to World War II games. Of course, this is World War One, but
Very
it's bringing you
close,
back
yeah.
to an older era,
Historical
one that's
war.
just not around anymore.
One that's not talked about. Did they announce anything for the campaign? Obviously, it's gonna have a campaign, but to my knowledge,
No, I don't remember that.
Most
Yeah,
of
I don't think they've
everything's
said
been
anything.
multiplayer.
obviously I prefer Call of Duty right now. It's just I gravitated towards that.
Yeah.
I've played Battlefield. I played the campaigns. They're fun. But this one really caught my attention. Just because I don't know why. I'm a big history fan, and just seeing all the stuff it did, and then when they showed the multiplayer demo, all the stuff you could do, the bikes, the tanks, the biplanes, the shovels,
Shovels,
combat knives, just all the old school stuff that's gonna make it a very unique shooter. It's not gonna be run and gun, die, run and gun, kill another person. It's gonna be, all right, well, I've got to go. And plus, with Battlefield and obviously the Frostbite engine, stuff explodes, which changes the map. And then the biggest thing, obviously, and again, I don't know how the Zeppelin works exactly, but bringing in a Zeppelin, over the field, that's just a straight up destruction mechanism. While the planes are flying around, it just seems a very intense combat.
I'm very excited to see the airship in action.
Oh, most
I
definitely.
want to see it falling down in action.
Yeah,
Being
just the
on the
fact
ground when it
that
happens.
its smoldering carcass,
Yeah.
can
Remains.
change the dynamic of the level. Very interesting concept.
And Battlefield's been known for, and again, no sides taking on obviously Call of Duty or Battlefield. Just looking at it, I feel like Battlefield has a little bit more, necessarily more use for using the landscapes
Yeah.
as compared to Call of Duty.
Call of Duty is an arena shooter.
Yeah,
It's
Very strategically
It's
designed.
kind of a. It's kind of a.
to a degree, but obviously with the fact that the buildings collapsed, the map itself has always been what I felt important for Battlefield players, and obviously with now you're adding in the continuous vehicles and the power of the vehicles, it's gonna be definitely it definitely piqued my interest. Where I'm gonna go pre-order this thing, and it's gonna it's gonna be one of those, okay, which one I play online, Call of Duty or Battlefield.
See, now that's something that was awesome for me is that generally I've not been very interested in Battlefield games at all for the most part. I played the demo for I think 4 or 3, one of the two anyway, and I thought it was interesting. But honestly, I was more in tune with more competitive multiplayer, which Call of Duty has to offer. But to be honest, this is definitely the first Battlefield that I'm very, very interested in, and I'm very likely to buy a copy.
And
so
if you look at the last one, Hardline really didn't. It looked cool, but then it just.
I heard people said that it didn't have the same depth of a
and I
regular
think that's
Battlefield
what-
game.
That's and so going back and just making it a military shooter is going to definitely, like I said, hook a lot more people and say again, bring that overall COD or Battlefield.
I wanted to comment on this.
Restart that fire for those series.
I wanted to comment on this. EA releasing Titanfall 2 and Battlefield.
Yes.
Very nearby each other, okay? Battlefield, much like Call of Duty, has dedicated fans who are going to buy the game regardless. Okay? So I think that's where some of the EA's confidence comes in. They already know people are going to buy Battlefield. It's the fact, do you feel like buying Titanfall as well?
Maybe that's why I want to say Titanfall's 1 week earlier.
Well, here's the other thing about Titanfall is that Titanfall was Xbox exclusive.
It was.
We're looking at a series that PlayStation players never got to experience, and now they get to.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm very happy I got to play the original Titanfall. It was an awesome experience, as limited in time as it was. But yeah, very excited about that. Last thing we're going to discuss with
Eric,
EA.
you want to make a comment about Battlefield?
I don't have much to say about Battlefield. Never played Battlefield before. I don't have any expectations for it. World War One. That's an interesting choice. Who else has done World War One?
nobody, as far as I mean, probably some indie titles somewhere.
Yeah, indie titles have, but it's
not
more,
bad.
always World War
And
II.
Battlefield does seem like the proper venue to start or try something like that. So,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, I think I'll skip it, but it piqued my interest. I thought it looked good.
Yeah, we'll check it out later when it releases. But the last thing I wanted to discuss with EA is Star Wars. Now they have the rights to Star Wars games.
For a couple years, I think.
Were we
10 years,
satisfied
my
with what we
understanding.
saw?
Well, holding back. Are we satisfied with what has come so far from EA as far as Star Wars is concerned?
Good question.
Ooh, I like the question even better. No, I'm not satisfied.
Not satisfied.
I'm happy I have a Battlefront.
I'm happy like it exists. I'm happy they're thinking about it. It
Obviously,
didn't
it
offer
won't
any
be-
depth, unfortunately.
Yeah. No single player. Again, that's a big thing for me. I
Yeah.
personally am a huge single player fan. Besides the trial missions, it wasn't anything.
Yeah, no.
And even the online, it's difficult, and it's not something if you aren't in it continuously, it's not necessarily an easy thing to pick up and just jump back into.
Which is odd because they built it around accessibility, and personally for me, it had so little depth that I don't know how to describe it. I
And
remember.
it missed, but the last Battlefront 2 came out in like 2007.
Yeah.
So it's been over 7 years or close to 7 years plus since there has been one. Obviously, gaming has changed drastically since then.
Yeah.
And so making it very similar to what Battlefield and Call of Duty would be seemed like the logical choice.
Well, I had a similar experience with playing Battlefront that I had with Titanfall, where it's like there's just not enough here to support
It's the same
the
thing.
price tag
Yep.
and what you're getting. Yeah.
And then even the DLC they showed, yes, it's cool, but then they always have something I feel stupid that they put in there, like the hero. Why would you put in Neonub, the co-pilot with Lando, when there's so many other people you could put in?
You just watch all these ridiculous heroes they're throwing in. They're gonna have big roles in like Rogue One or something.
We're missing like basic people. Where's Chewbacca? Where's Yoda? Like instead, we're getting Nina Nub, whoever that Dangar.
And it's about time.
Yeah, the Clone Wars.
Well, I mean, that's completely baffling to me. I mean, the
They're
last
saving it. They're sitting on it. Is what they're
sitting
doing.
on it for Battlefront.
They're waiting for the
2.
Chewie movie. Chewie movie might be coming out sooner. He's gonna have Chewie focus, whatever. He's gonna be in later. There's no reason you skip one of the biggest heroes.
It feels like they're doing. It's the worst way to do this DLC.
They're stalling it out.
They're stalling it out
for
we
hype.
know the last DLC pack is Rogue One stuff because it matches alongside it. So I mean, they have one DLC pack in theory to include Chewbacca, Yoda. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 2 heroes.
Yoda's not going anywhere.
They announced the 3 DLC.
Exactly.
And so, obviously, we don't know what it involves. I have to remember the names.
Yeah, the last one's Death Star. I'm sorry, third is Death Star.
Third is Death Star.
And then the
fourth
final
one,
one
is gonna
is
be
Rogue One, which we know.
And so, obviously, they made that. And then Respawn has the rights to, isn't it the...
We don't know what Respawn's doing. All we know is it's a third-person action Star Wars game. Which I stand by
hinted,
as a mobile app.
No. They
wrong.
hinted things in this hype trailer kind of thing on the EA press conference. They had people in mocap suits doing lightsaber fights.
Yep.
So that'll be neat.
I don't know why. Yeah. And then Visceral Gaming has... I don't know. Is there? They don't really have a classification on theirs, do they? They didn't really announce what.
I think they've said that it was a story-based third-person
Star Wars.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Visceral. I think they did show during the hype trailer some in-game footage.
Yeah.
It just showed like a guy walking
Walking out of a
Walking
building.
TIE
in
fighters
the
flying
desert.
over.
Yeah, some sandy planet.
Again,
Could
like
we
I said,
assume it's Jakku? No, it's probably Tatooine.
Wonder where that is.
Yeah.
Gee.
And the only date they announced was 2018. That's one of the first things the lady said. No titles, no which one's which, or they just said, 2018, which isn't really that big a surprise.
No, not at all.
Especially like I said again with Mass Effect coming out next year. You got Titanfall Battlefield this year, Battlefield next year.
I think I saw Battlefront 2 was set for holiday 2017.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They
So they're gonna end because Rogue One. Oh yeah, it'd be.
And they also
2
said
years.
that
Okay.
it's going to have a single player campaign. They said it's going to be based on, in theory, as much as they've said, on the current films with The Force Awakens. So that era.
And by the time 2017 rolls around,
We're looking at
episode
8.
Episode 8, and whatever that brings along.
Yeah.
So really, we have nothing to talk about until next
Nothing
year.
to talk about, yeah.
Star Wars fans are used to waiting.
About the only thing I think looked in any way interesting, which had nothing to do with the EA press conference, was Sony's VR X-Wing.
Yeah.
okay.
Which we saw teased very, very lightly in the EA.
Oh look, there's
For
space.
half a second, they kind of showed.
Is that a
it was
Battlefront
VR.
expansion?
No.
No,
It's
standalone.
it's called it's Battlefront
Battlefront.
X-Wing
Mission.
VR mission.
It is a separate entity thing.
It's its own little thing.
It's the reason
So
we don't have
if,
space
if you buy a
missions.
PS4 version of Battlefront, you will not be getting that automatically.
No, it's coming
It's a
later.
separate thing.
And the only other thing Star Wars related, and I don't think it's from EA, I'm not sure, is obviously the Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yeah, they did show that.
Which again is following the recent Lego games and has obviously voice acting in it. The most recent Lego.
Are you guys Lego Star Wars fans?
I play
I've
Lego. Yeah.
played the original Lego Star Wars a long time ago. It was fun, and then I think it kind of got overcomplicated, and I lost interest.
I've been waiting for like a combined, because I have the original, the one that has both.
Yeah.
The complete saga, but I want them to kind of
Just a
package.
triple.
Yes, with the Clone Wars one they did.
Maybe I'll come back to it in that. I mean,
I would like a little bit of backwards compatibility on it. But then, the most recent one prior to Lego Star Wars was Lego Marvel Avengers, and that I have that one personally. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
A ton of
Heard good
characters and very good voice acting as compared to like Lord of the Rings, where it's kind of cut and paste.
See, now I was only used to like the original Star Wars one,
Oh,
where
yeah, where they
the
didn't say
Legos didn't
anything.
say a goddamn
They
word.
they still don't necessarily. They'll make their little gimmicks, but they
Yeah.
have the occasional. And I think they're going to do kind of a cut and paste style. But
Okay.
from Star Wars, yeah, you got your Battlefront DLC, which I think you can play Outer Rim for free right now until the end of this week,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have it down, obviously, if you haven't bought the season pass, stuff like that. And then, like I said, you'll get your Lego Star Wars near the end of this year in fall.
No, Lego Star Wars. I think it's coming out next month
Oh, crap.
or later this month, like the 24th or something.
I'd have
I
to
gotta remember what the date is.
And then you get your stuff in 2018 that you'll learn
Yeah.
probably more about.
So overall, what did we think of EA in general?
Well, was there any original stuff from EA?
No, Battlefield.
There was Fee, and I think that was it.
Fee was
Oh,
from
right,
them.
yeah.
Okay, Fee. Yeah. What do you think of Fee?
It's an indie game.
It's an indie game.
It's an indie game.
I thought
That's
it looked
one.
interesting. Look like
That is
something I'll
one of
look
the few
into.
games I would actually bother.
And if you haven't seen the trailer,
Actually, grab my attention.
it's basically an indie game that they picked up that you're some kind of
Mammal.
I don't know.
Forest
I don't even know
critter.
if you remember. Yeah, forest
Little
critter.
foxy-looking thing.
A cub is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
The entire game is like in animal noises, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, no
there's no
dialogue.
narrative.
Like you
Very
could
primal,
talk,
as,
yep.
as I was describing it.
I wouldn't call it a simple game, but like
Oh,
a unstressful game.
Ooh, a peaceful
I don't
game
know about
almost.
that. I'd like to see
Well,
it. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it
Maybe
looks.
some tension.
They talked about it being between you and nature and the animals, and then obviously there was robots that came in, kind of tearing the forest down. And as we've already dug into, obviously I have to bring it up, how Fe is the atomic symbol for iron. Whether that's
Appropriate,
on
it
purpose or just a coincidence, I don't know. Side note about Mass Effect, they did I forgot before I forget. They mentioned, we'll tell you more later this fall. So
Yes. Actually, a common theme I
know,
heard
yeah.
at E3 this year. A lot of we'll tell you more later this fall. And honestly, I think that's a marketing strategy to get the hype up right before Christmas, sell those games then. It might actually be smarter than announcing things and showing all this stuff at E3.
yeah, especially with like I said,
really
Mass
highlights
Effect
the
being in March of next year during EA's final fiscal quarter.
Exactly.
It's more of a
Hey, there's a reason to hold off.
Yep.
We having a great game coming. It's going to be a while, though.
But go ahead and pre-order it now. So
Exactly. So yeah, that was EA. Overall, I was pretty disappointed with
I was
theirs.
sad.
Yeah, I
being an
understand
EA
why.
fan, hurt.
Yeah. As a big EA fan, I'm sure you were hurt. Honestly, I've been really rooting for them ever since they kind of made the change from worst company of all time.
And it's not like they didn't. It's not like they stunk it up. They just
No, it just doesn't seem like they had much to show
for
this year.
It was
Not
more of
right.
like,
It's not
guess
right.
what? We're working on stuff.
And what they had to
But
show
you're
is
gonna have to
more or
wait.
less the same. We get new
Yep.
FIFA, we get,
Madden, all that stuff. It was more of like, guess what? You'll get more stuff later next year or stuff like that. So just keep holding out. for
which
all
is
the good
unfortunate for us because that doesn't give us much to talk about, but
So true. But you know what did give us a lot to talk about? Bethesda.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to Bethesda. One of the first things they started off with was Quake. If I remember correctly, I don't think many of you guys are big Quake fans. Are you a big Quake fan? You played
I've
it.
played Quake 4 at the very end of it, and then whenever that multiplayer game came out, I could have swore it was like Quake. What's this one called?
There was a Quake arena that they did, which was a
Quake
standalone
game, which I
multiplayer
played
game.
maybe for a few days. It was enjoyable. I don't know anything about Quake. I know of it.
Yeah.
I know it has a big cult following, but other than that, I just know that it used to be a big game back in the day.
I grew up with Quake, but in a very specific style, which was multiplayer.
The arena.
It definitely taught me what an arena shooter was. It made me fall in love with the arena shooter. Made me a big Unreal Tournament fan later on when those games were releasing. So I'm excited, but I'm heavily skeptical. It looks like they're adding special abilities.
More look
per
like heroes,
character.
almost like heroes.
Yeah, in Classic Quake, you could pick a character, but it made no difference who you were. Honestly, I'm not really sure why you could.
was
Thinking
just
back,
the skin.
why could you pick your skin? Maybe just for
No,
fun
it was just the
customization.
skin. That's all. Yeah.
I'm skeptical, but they said they'll show more at QuakeCon later.
And again, it's following the theme of most games, most arena shooters, which is kind of almost like it's making a comeback, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
With Overwatch and
Battleborn.
Battleborn. is
Hero
this
shooter.
is this almost a hero based arena shooter where everyone has their own specific talents, which it looked just by the small reveal that so and so has a special gun or so and so has magic fists or something like
Yeah.
that. So, but it was a big reveal nonetheless for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that Quake is coming back, is kind of is great news for a lot of people. Right now, I know for me personally, as a big arena shooter fan, all I have is Call of Duty, which isn't really an arena shooter. It's a tactical shooter. It does lean towards a competitive aspect, but it's not really that instant, fast.
Arena shooter.
Chuck, did you like Halo 5?
I 50-50 on it.
50-50?
I haven't played the multiplayer.
Halo 5, Halo has this weird thing where people have a lot of HP. You really got to go, on them to get a kill. And Quake, on the other hand, just general arena shooters,
fast.
it's very
Yeah.
fast, like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hopefully be able to play an arena shooter sometime soon.
And QuakeCon is what, a couple months, I assume. I'm not.
I guess so. I don't even.
Around like Comic Cons or.
I've never
PAX
paid
East,
attention to
yeah.
QuakeCon, to be honest.
You said the Doom multiplayer is about the closest you
That's-
get right now?
Yes, exactly. Right now, yeah, Doom's multiplayer, which doesn't have too much depth, but it's not bad.
Well, speaking
It's okay.
of Doom, they did announce, isn't the next thing going to be a DLC for multiplayer?
Yes. So I think if I remember correctly, all DLC is free for that game.
I
think-
haven't played it.
Was there a season pass?
Which game?
Doom.
Doom.
Doom. I believe there's a season pass. I don't think it's free.
There might be a season pass. It's probably not free.
We might be giving
Um,
out content for snap maps to keep it.
Yeah, I
revitalized
think
and
that's
everything
definitely
like that, But yeah.
But they showed, but Doom will be getting, obviously, more maps via DLC. That's really, I think, the only thing they showed for Doom.
Yeah, that was about it for that.
Oh, and then, on Doom, before we go on, you can download the demo
Thank you.
and try it free for this week.
Yes,
Which
so
everyone should be doing. You guys both.
I know I've said this a lot. You guys should really check out my YouTube channel. I did a Doom review. You can check that out there. Personally, I highly recommend that game. I absolutely love it. I'm not the only person saying this.
No, I have coworkers saying the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I personally haven't played it, but I know it was a big, hey,
Yeah, I mean-
Mike, you need to try Doom.
If it's a free demo, by all means, just go try it. I think you're gonna love it, honestly.
And I want to say, I'd assume it's like a demo of just the main campaign.
It's the first level.
Would be my guess. Yeah, first level.
Yeah. So following Doom, we do have some Fallout news. I've played through Fallout. I really did enjoy it. I haven't even touched any of the DLC I got.
There's two. I want to say, isn't there two DLC?
Yeah.
No,
they had-
one. Yeah, the one's like little.
So
Build Your Own
originally they
Robot?
had two small DLCs,
Build
which
Your Own
was like
Robot.
build your own robots, and then another one was
More little stuff to put around. Yeah, I can't
stuff
remember
building
exactly.
stuff. And then they had the larger one,
Far Harbor,
which was Far Harbor,
which was just released like a month ago, if that.
yeah, like a month ago. Which so I think PS4, you guys should be getting it nowish.
Yeah,
I believe.
it's been a couple weeks now.
Yeah. So, but they did announce some new stuff, which comes with the season pass if you guys got it, if you're lucky enough to get it at the $30 price tag, which includes contraptions.
That'll be the most. I want to see the most recent one,
Yep.
which looked like
Yeah,
again
like you're
more
building
stuff
machines and that kind of thing.
for when you're building your settlements. That's what that one was. The biggest one is what comes out next month.
Yes.
Or no, this month in June.
Are
No,
you,
July. My bad.
the Build a Vault?
Contraptions- Yes.
I'm very excited
The
about
Build a
that.
Vault is next month.
That's what I mean. That's one of my favorite concepts
that's gonna
of
be-
Fallout is the vaults.
I think that's everyone's
You
favorite
find one and
concept
you're
of
like,
Fallout.
oh my god, what happened?
And
You know.
can, yeah, and you can. It shows you digging into the ground
Yep.
and building everything from the ground up.
I'm
And
super
obviously,
excited about that.
everyone's favorite thing. If you've seen the trailer for it, you get to test on your vaulties. Experiment. My bad. Experiment
Yeah.
on your vaulties. Just like any normal vault overlord, Overwatch.
Getting some
person would
Twilight
do.
Zone stuff going on up in here.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be awesome. And of course, the last one was something called Nuka World.
Well, Nuka Cola is the drink in
Yes.
obviously in Fallout series.
Yeah, the Fallout
But the only thing it showed was like almost like an amusement park, Nuka Cola.
Yeah, it
And
looked
then-
like there were just settlers coming to visit, and it's like,
And it was like a
I
postcard.
wonder about that. If they were just advertising what you can build with contraptions.
No, because it showed a postcard
no,
and
it
said
showed a
welcome,
postcard with a
and
month.
it had August of obviously this year, and it was like
okay. they
hello
changed the
from
release
Nuka
date.
Cola World or something like that. Yeah, it was up in the corner. It was.
I think that'll be the last piece of DLC probably for our season passes.
You think so?
Yes, yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't got to try any of the DLC already, so I have a lot to jump in
And the
for.
mods, apparently, for Xbox players have the mods currently.
Yes,
so.
Xbox players have the mods. I think PlayStation 4 is getting it very, very soon.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I
it's like
think.
multiplayer.
We'll have to see about that. But Bethesda had another amazing announcement, which we've all been begging for years.
It wasn't even necessarily begging for it.
I think
It was
definitely
it took a
demanding.
step above. Everyone wanted it ported, especially Xbox players.
Yes.
We wanted
just basic backward compatibility, and that game is The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. I mean, I could
specifically
not be any more
remastered
excited.
for the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah, so it's even better than backward compatible. We're getting a remaster.
And when you say remastered, it showed remastered. It showed you side by side,
Yeah,
completely different.
Check it out. Watch the trailer for it. The textures and stuff, it is night and day. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it's not
beautiful.
simply a texture swap or setting the graphical settings just a little bit higher, like they would normally with PC. I mean, the original textures were, I'd say, it was on par with like setting it to medium on PC.
Yeah,
And then you look at it, if you ever actually just look at the textures in Skyrim on a PS3 or a 360, you'd be surprised
How blurry they are?
blurry and pixelated,
oh yeah.
muddy they are. It's
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Well, I mean, I'm super excited. They and then to top it off, they added mod support that we just got with Fallout. They're like, oh yeah, of course we're gonna put it in Skyrim as well.
On the
Are you
consoles, yep.
kidding me?
So a remastered for PS4, Xbox One, including the mods.
Yeah. I mean, this is it's the best way they could have done this. If they're not giving us Elder Scrolls 6, which they had no announcement for in any way, shape, or form, they're giving us a remastered version with mod support. It is the best way they could have handled this. So, yeah.
And the PS4 owners will get it because they don't have to worry about the backwards compatibility. So
Exactly, which would have only
Yeah.
segregated it to Xbox One users.
so Elder Scrolls kind of took it, or Bethesda, my bad, kind of took it in their own hands and said, oh, let's do this. And so maybe that's why Xbox didn't backwards compatibility it.
Yeah.
I think that was just I think it was a great idea.
So yeah, definitely that everyone's gonna buy that one. Well, not everyone, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
If you haven't played Skyrim, you should.
Eric, you were a huge Skyrim fan. Do you see yourself actually buying a copy of this and playing through it again or anything like that?
Yeah, probably.
I personally, I don't know. I'm very excited about
I'll
it.
probably get it. Again, I didn't get very far. I did a lot of side stuff, random.
You are forgiven if you get back to this one.
I will. I'll add it to my list of stuff, and obviously keeping on the Elder Scrolls series as Bethesda did. Moving to a little bit about the online.
Online, sure, we'll go there.
You might as well touch it because it's really
Yeah,
simple.
What are they releasing? The Dark Brotherhood?
The Dark
expansion?
Brotherhood expansion. They've already released the Thieves Guild, which I believe you still have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Brotherhood expansion. Obviously, the Dark Brotherhood, the Assassins, all that. Your own little group you can join. And then the only other thing I know that they announced major was... I don't even know how to describe it. It was like...
That open world thing. It was like a combined open world where the factions pretty much don't exist.
The
You can
levels
group if
and
want.
you can
Level
as soon as you get out of the tutorial, level scaling. I mean, you can join any group. You can. I don't get it because I'm like.
What they did here, okay, with this open world kind of thing, is they made it more familiar to players who have played traditional Elder Scrolls games like Skyrim, okay? Generally, in Skyrim, you can go anywhere you want to start. Some areas might be more difficult than others, but the enemies aren't like set to like level 20 and you're level 5, okay? There's a difficulty scaling. And of course, with Elder Scrolls Online, originally, I mean, you can't simply walk where you want. If you wanted to go to this city, it's like, no, I don't want to stay out here in the starter zone. I wanted to go to this city. I wanted to start here. You can do that because the world will simply.
That's how
scale
Elder
up.
Scrolls games are. You know, I mean,
yes.
yeah. When
and
you
of course, the
start it,
MMO had hard walled lines to where this is for these zones or these groups of levels. This is for this group of level. This is end game stuff that you can't.
But at the same time, if I'm a player who's put in hours upon hours, and I'm one of the top players, how does that make you feel? Just
No. This is good. They separated it. These are separate servers. They're not connected to the original one. So your original characters that are there, they're going to be sticking in their realms.
and it's
So you're telling me this is only for new servers or something?
Yeah, they're going to be
How
putting
many
up new
how many
servers.
people do they expect to come back to this game?
Didn't they say they had 7
7 million active players.
Seven
They did
million.
not
They
say
didn't say
active.
active.
They
They
didn't
said
say
7 million players
7 million players? I don't,
enjoying the world of
a free to play world. It's free to play, obviously. It's very, I want to say it's very cheap. Currently, price tag wise, I believe.
To get your
A lot
hands
of
on it.
places.
You said you got your hands on a copy of for like $10.
Yeah, $10-15. It was on sale. Why not?
Yeah, why not at that point? It is a free game. It's a free experience anyway.
And then, like, you were going to continue?
We have the Elder Scrolls Legends.
Yeah, card game. Okay. So one thing to say about the card game, of course, Elder Scrolls has a rich history, somewhat like Bethesda or with Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Warcraft has a rich history, many characters you would know and love, things to relate back to if you've ever played the MMO or the Warcraft series. And of course, with Bethesda, with the Elder Scrolls series, the Elder Scrolls series has a pretty massive background set of lore. Okay, there's a lot to draw from. So a card game, technically, it makes sense. It can work. There's a difference between there.
Yeah,
they
I
have
mean,
a lane system in there.
I think it'll work. I mean, we have Hearthstone. Okay, for the digital card games.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this a little bit later, but we have Gwent coming from the Witcher series. And of course, we have Elder Scrolls Legends. So I think there's definitely a market for these games. We've seen Hearthstone completely blow up. It's like the second or third most watched game on Twitch daily.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an evolving genre almost. We had the Pokemon trading card game online that you could have played. I think there's an online version of Magic. But with these nice simplified card games, anyone can pick it up and play it, free to play. I think it's cool. It's definitely an emerging genre. So there's plenty of space for new games.
Depending on whether or not, obviously, Hearthstone is both PC based as well as mobile.
Yes.
It's something you can sit on the bus or
And
at
that's a good
work or
question.
something like that. Is Elder Scrolls Legends, right?
Yes.
Elder Scrolls Legends. I would hope if they were smart, and I expect them to, they do it on mobile as well as at least, was it PC or what did they show for the consoles?
I don't actually know. I assume PC.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
PC, yeah.
But yeah, and so I would assume and I would hope that they would put link it to the mobile app. That just seems the next logical thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't remember a whole bunch of it. I know they showed that has like Nick said, the dual lanes, like two fighting areas that that's going to cause you to have some strategy of some sort.
Yeah.
Fighting the way that is. But yeah, Elder Scrolls has a lot of announcements. If you're a big Elder Scrolls fan, you got the new DLC and all the add-ons for the online. You got Legends, and then obviously you got your Skyrim returning.
Mm-hmm. So, some of the other things they went ahead and they were releasing, we got a look into a game called Prey.
Those look good.
Now, Prey isn't exactly a new series. In theory, they had the original Prey, I think was for Xbox, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember ever hearing about it. That's me, though.
A few years ago at E3, they showed a trailer of what we thought at the time. I don't know why we thought this. It was at it was probably a Bethesda press conference or something like that. We thought it was Bounty Hunter. And it was supposed to be Prey 2. I recently saw the trailer for this. It looked really weird. It was this guy hunting another guy. There were all these aliens and that kind of thing. And we were like, is this Bounty Hunter 2 or something? Star Wars Bounty Hunter? And no, it was Prey 2, which, as far as I've heard, was canceled after that.
The trailer, just off the bat, without knowing what it was,
Yeah.
again, a lot of psychological thrillers as you hear as we go on.
Yes.
I wasn't a big psychological thriller fan, but just the beginning to this trailer, wake up, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And he looked into a mirror, and obviously if you watch the trailer, you'll get what we're saying here. And then you notice stuff started getting a little bit funky and repeating.
He's getting funky for sure.
It was intense. You start talking to yourself and seeing yourself, your reflections are moving and talking back. And
Yeah.
it looked, I've never even heard of Prey. It looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, not a big psychological thriller fan, but I was like, oh man, I want to look more into that one.
See, and I'm not a big fan of horror games or anything like that.
Absolutely.
But this is a psychological thriller, and I'm a huge psychological thriller fan. I've always liked those kind of concepts, the Twilight Zone and those kind of stories, Black Mirror. All those really intrigue me in a nice deep level. I like that psychological, philosophical, all these kind of questions.
And the trailer did a good job of showing what it's going to be, but also at the same time, like what the heck? And
Offering that psychological thriller,
I need to know more. So that one's definitely an excitement. I think they threw out there.
Definitely one of my most anticipated games from their conference, for sure.
Absolutely.
The last thing I think they discussed, Dishonored 2, which I think, Eric, you're the only one who played that. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're the only one who got to play Dishonored.
I didn't play all the way through Dishonored.
Yeah.
I got, I don't know, maybe 30-40% of the way through.
Okay.
And it's good. I like the kind of Victorian era steampunk design.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting and bizarre, and that's just what I like. That said, I have no idea what to think about.
For the second one.
I don't know what to think about, too, because I technically didn't finish the first one. So.
Yeah. Are you eager to see more Dishonored?
Sure. I thought it looked interesting enough.
They showed a lot, though, it felt like, to me. And I've never played... I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. And I know it's not the same thing, but it's the closest relatable thing I can.
And something I really like is like period sci-fi. I know that sounds odd, but it's something that just sticks out as something I really enjoy. So we'll see.
It carries on from where the previous Dishonored left off. Again, I don't know much about the storyline. The trailer pretty much reveals all that to you.
Yeah.
It was a very good trailer. They played it for like half an hour.
Yeah.
And again, it continues on with its kind of go how you want to, make.
Well, one of the big things I absolutely loved about it is, I never got to play the first one. I kind of understood the concept.
Yeah.
But when they showed off this one, they really tried to show you that this is a living world on its own. We know Bethesda's already famous for doing this with their Elder Scrolls series where the world goes on, You could sit there and things will happen. People will go to town and they will do things.
And that's something the first Dishonored does very well. It's a very lived-in world that you can study and see what's going on.
And I mean, it seems very fascinating. I would love to see this kind of thing. The only thing I could think of that was even remotely close for me was BioShock Infinite, and that didn't come anywhere near close to a living world. It was,
Yeah, you had your normal NPCs, stuff like that. And this one, before we forget, I think you have the option of playing as 2 characters.
Yes.
The girl, I
found that shocking.
I think was the daughter.
The Empress, the new
Yes.
Empress right now. Was it Emily?
Emily
Caldwell, and then I was her father.
That's the character you're tracking down in the first game.
And I don't think you had. It was one or the other. It wasn't both like Assassin's Creed Syndicate was.
Okay.
And I want to say I felt like they probably had. I don't know if their storylines are similar or different depending on what you choose. I know it definitely affects the other person. Obviously, if you choose the one.
One thing I was confused about was they said that you had the 2 characters, but they didn't make it clear if, do I do 2 separate playthroughs entirely?
I believe it's,
or are you going to be switching
I believe
back
it's
and forth?
one primary story, okay? You can choose one or the other, and they gave you a good reason to go back and play through the game again. And the thing is that choosing between the different characters, of course, they're going to have their own dialogue and options and everything like that. They're going to have 2 different perspectives.
Yeah.
Here. So I do believe they're pretty much telling the same story here. They're going down generally the same path, but they're going to have their own perspective.
The story being that I want to say you get attacked, they basically steal your empire, and now you have to go figure out what the heck just happened, and that takes you to a beautiful looking world.
Yeah.
I can't remember Caracas or Caracas.
Caracas?
No, it had an S. I think.
Something. It was something similar, but the factor is it's in I believe, a totally new environment.
Yep.
They built it up around this new environment. They made the world. They created the world. They even said they were creating their own culture and music.
Every street, they wanted every street, every little nook and cranny to tell a story, whether you're on a random side street or, down the main street, this building, the shop. What was the history before it was overgrown or before it was closed? Who was there prior? And stuff like that. They flat out said,
how about the environmental damage to the buildings and stuff based on it being so close to the sea and everything?
It definitely sounds, and just to summarize it looked interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It depends on if I can get Dishonored. I'm a big story person, so I have to go and play the first one.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's just how I am. So I don't know. Again,
man.
adding to my list of stuff. Do I have time to go and play Dishonored 1?
I'm in that boat.
To get to Dishonored 2 while I have so much other stuff I have revealing or coming out to me for this year. So.
Yeah. Overall, I was pretty impressed with Bethesda's press conference for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Any last remaining thoughts? You guys' thoughts on their conference? Do you think they did well? Are you excited about what they have to
I think
offer?
that was pretty much as expected.
Yeah.
I mean, you expected something major for Skyrim, and you got it.
Yeah.
I'd say literally it met my expectations on what I expected to see.
Yeah.
A nice new games as well as new content for games that they already have out.
Yeah.
Well, my perspective of Bethesda, I thought it was a very good press conference. I thought it was a surprise for Skyrim. I mean, I wanted Skyrim. I know a lot of people wanted it. I didn't expect a remaster to look so good. I was expecting them to just up the quality, send it out, and maybe the mods. I know some of the rumors came out, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to believe it until I see it, and I was blown away by it. I was happy.
It was all right. I thought it was a tad dry.
Sure.
I was kind of expecting that, so it was okay.
All right.